Welcome back, everybody, to the Scale Success Reptile Podcast. Probably soon going to be Scale Success Podcast since we're doing all types of animals and, within different types of hobbies, not just reptiles nowadays. But welcome back. Thanks for joining in tonight. This is now the post fall NARBC Dallas show. We're gonna go a quick overview on how that went, what's how that what I did, and Blake was there too, especially promoting his feeder business. So we're gonna go get into that. And then what else we got going on in Clover's Reptile World? We have like I said, back from the show. Thank you to anybody that was out there that came by our table, especially bought animals. Big shout out to one of our viewers, and she bought an animal, bought us some goodies, some something special from her part of the world. She's from Oklahoma, so she bought us Oklahoma Rosa stones. So that was really cool to get. And thank you again for anybody who bought an animal from us and just supported us through the whole weekend. Now that's done. We're back here in Miami, back to the grind of things, and we have next weekend. We are in Charlotte, North Carolina, for the All American Reptile and Plant Expo, and I'm gonna give you guys the dates on that. I always when I update you guys, I forget the dates and all that stuff, but the dates are next weekend, so Saturday and Sunday, 21st, 22nd September. Saturday doors open at 9 a.m. for VIPs and 10 for general admission, all the way close at 5. And then same thing. So I can see Sunday there's no VIP, I guess. There's not 10 to 4 Sunday. So if you guys are in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, make sure to go check that out. And it's going to be at the Park Expo and Convention Center, 800 Briar Creek Road. This is going to be the first time I've entered the Carolinas. I've had a couple people, through the last year message me and ask if we're going to do any like the local shows out there. And this show came up, and I thought to myself that was like the perfect, show to go do, because it's not one of the smaller shows. It seems like they're putting on same size, like big shows like NARBC, Reptile Nation, maybe not as big as Daytona, because Daytona is a monster, but they are putting good sized shows with a diversity of vendors, and they're adding the plant to it too as well. So you get reptiles and plants, and within the last couple years, the reptiles and the plants have been really merging together with all the bioactive and naturalistic enclosures on that stuff. So we got that going on. You know, if you guys are interested in any of the 2024 and a handful of 2023 Western hognose that we hatched, we have our Husbandry Pro store fully updated and stocked. So go check that out. The link in the description below. Make sure you guys go check that out. Message us if you have any questions about any of the babies, And without further ado, actually, let me say hi to a couple people that are in here. Emilio Villarino Reptiles, thanks for joining us. Thanks for always supporting. If you are looking for a great community in the reptile world, join the V Unit. There's a lot of ball python breeders. I'm hognose myself, and then a lot of the original ball python breeder members that were there now are venturing to other species, other colubrids, hognose, and stuff like that. So make sure to go join that and check them out. A lot of knowledge in that group. Love and V-Dubs, what's going on? Thanks for the continuous support you got going. You show us. TNA Snakes, Anthony, same thing. Thanks for joining us tonight. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment down below on the this video. If you guys have any specific questions for Blake or anything about his animals, make sure, or myself, drop a super chat tonight and we'll answer you guys' question. And a big shout out. He's not here yet tonight, but he'll probably pop in. Casey, one of our YouTube members. So thanks for supporting there. And we have another thing coming this week too that I'm gonna upload this week. Is gonna be a Dallas NRBC miniature walkthrough. A couple of hognose breeders that were there, and other species as well. So check that out. Stay tuned. Make sure you guys hit the notification button so you guys can see when I drop that video. Probably gonna be maybe like Thursday, Friday morning. And let me know what you guys think. If I should do more while I'm at the shows and interview a couple of the local breeders in those areas, especially now that I'm traveling out of the state. There's breeders that we don't see here in Florida and that aren't local. So it's cool to see and talk to them and talk about their projects. All right, guys, without further ado, we're going to invite and get Blake in here. Welcome, Blake. What's going on, bud?
What's going on? What's up? What's up?
Oh, man, like I was saying, just getting back to the grind of things. Just finally put the animals back into their bins and all that stuff.
There you go.
So, you
Good
know
weekend?
how it is. Yeah, man. Great weekend. Good show for Hognose. Yep. And, a blast at the auction Saturday night.
Yeah. Auctions are always the best.
Yeah, man. That was great to have.
And you were just saying that there's another show coming up you're going to?
Yeah, so I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina at the All-American Reptile and Plant Expo.
Oh,
wow. So, they started doing, I think, last year. This might be their first North Carolina show, but they started in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
And then they did another Midwest show, and now they did the North Carolina show.
That's dope. That's cool. Yeah. Crazy how many shows are out there.
Man, September is a busy month for shows. Like,
yeah.
If I wanted to, I could probably do one show every weekend in different states in September.
A lot of moving.
But that's a lot, man, especially with the animals, in and out of the, the tubs into deli cubs, the travel.
You're flying there or you're going to drive there?
I'm going to drive. Yeah. It's about a 10 and a half hour drive. Yeah.
Yeah. It's scary what you guys do, putting those animals on the airplane. I'm always scared of shipping animals.
Yeah. It's funny because you're not the only one that say that. And it's a risk. And I've tried both. We've done the driving.
Yeah.
Myself and Eslin have driven to Houston.
Long time.
Yeah, one time we did that. And then we did the FedEx shipping. And now we did Delta Cargo. And so far, I like the Delta Cargo. It's same day, morning drop-off, afternoon, night pickup.
Yeah. We just pick up at like the airport, right? The cargo area?
Yeah. Right. Usually right on the service road, the airport, the outskirts.
Yeah.
So far so good. So, keeping our fingers crossed that stays good because, like any of these shipping companies, they don't guarantee or insure your animals.
They don't.
Ship Your Reptiles is one of our partners that we ship with, and all the insurance comes straight out of their profit and their pockets if anything happens to your animals.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, man. Yeah, especially like shipping all the animals you have
all together.
Yeah.
Like I understand when you're just shipping one, like to somebody, like it would really suck if something gets stuck. But when you're shipping your whole freaking shebang out there, it's like, that's scary. I don't know if I could do that. I think I'd still drive.
My wife goes. We dropped off yesterday morning at 5 a.m. in Dallas to come back to yesterday, and my wife goes, "We're leaving." And we have left the animals, and they put it on the floor. And she goes, "I hope they remember the animals are there." I was like, "Yeah, the lady has to put the rest of the stickers and like the packing list on it, so she'll put it, where it belongs." And she goes, "Are they insured?" I go, "No." I go, "You sign basically a waiver saying that they're not responsible if something happens to your animals."
Yeah.
So it is a little nerve-wracking.
Especially when you're bringing some good stuff, and I mean everything's good at the end of the day. It's just stuff that you worked for so hard for, and then you never know what can happen. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
it's worth it at the end.
It is, man, and it's almost like a risk you have to take to be able to reach out, expand and reach out all these other different markets, man. Because like I've thought, when me and Eslin were talking about first, when he went to Cali, he was like, "Do you think we can drive to Cali?" I was like, "We can, but that's a 2-3 day trip just driving.
It's a lot."
Instead of just a 1 day flight, with the
and no kids on that either. No kids on that trip.
Oh, that would be a 2-week trip with kids, man.
Yeah,
stopping for bathroom breaks, eating, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
And before we get into like all your stuff, you've been doing a lot of shows recently too, like just going out and stuff like that.
When I was, right? Yeah, I guess I can say when I was younger, I was always in all the shows and everything, always trying to buy turtles and tortoises as much as I can. And I guess in the last year, I've been really pushing the shows for the new business I started, Blake's Exotic Feeders. So with that, I've been just trying to promote as best as I can. And, you know, doing it online is great, but meeting somebody in person is a whole other ball game. Just like when you go to a show, you can sell an animal online. It's great, but there's been so many people that I've met just in person going to different states, which is a really, really cool thing. And people that I've sold to multiple times, and to put a face to somebody is always a good thing. And that's why I've been trying to hit the shows as many as I can.
Yeah, man, that person to person interaction is different, you know.
Yeah.
That text messaging, even phone calls, it's different once you shake somebody's hand and stuff like that. It's totally different. I mean, that's the old school way of doing business too. And
exactly, and that's the best way. I mean, at the end of the day.
Yep. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was my first time in that was the Dallas show for sure. I've never done that one before.
What you think about it? Honest opinion, man.
So my honest opinion, to be honest, was it was a good show, but personally, because I am a YouTuber and stuff like that, what I noticed a big hit, unfortunately, was I think that show should not bring that girl in again or promote it in a different way, because I feel like everybody was there just for her. And you know the girl I was talking about, the other YouTuber girl there. All the kids, everybody was there just for her. And then once she left, I felt like it died out. It was just a couple people that were there, and then just the vendors. Yeah. Which really sucked. You saw the complete flip. Yep. Till 2:00, it was, jam-packed. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is good. This is awesome. 3:00, where the heck did everybody go? I went to the back. She's gone. All right, there you go. There's your answer. Yeah. So, like, they sold the show because of her. The people that ran the show, they made money because they had tons of walk-ins, because, you know, they got their money, their ticket money. Yeah. But for the vendors, I don't think it was, I don't know how every vendor worked or how they, how much they made, or if it turned out good for all of them. But I think it was a big hit because of her. But at the end of the day, too, she is doing a good thing. You know, she's educating. She's showing people that snakes are awesome and animals are awesome. So hopefully those kids will grow up to be one of us as well, and then want to purchase from us. So it's like 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I was talking about the V unit with Emilio. We always like to talk about shows after and stuff. And I said that exact same thing. I said, general admission opened up, and you saw the crowd of people just running to the back of the show, right? Because that's where we were set up. And we got a lot of traction that earlier that day. And what's it called? And the foot traffic was there, but people that were going to actually, look or seriously going to buy just any animal, either pet level or something to breed, wasn't the majority. Like you said, hopefully one day those kids, because a lot of those kids now they're just looking into reptiles, into different animals, but the parents, I see, they're not fully on board yet, and that happens, right?
They're still trying to convince their parents.
Yeah. So hopefully, like you said, one day, when they're teenagers or they're adults, they become, reptile, enthusiasts or the next breeder.
Just that lady alone. It almost looked like close to a few hundred to maybe almost a couple thousand that were just there just for her. The line wouldn't stop from 10 a.m. to 2, 3, all around the whole building. She had a big following. It was moving.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, that was the exact same thing I told to the unit. If they could be more of either more of the marketing, whatever it is, to get more of the actual reptile enthusiast or somebody that's actually going to go and purchase a reptile, because that's what we're there for the show,
to make money,
sell our animals, and to make money and to make those connections for future stuff, for future projects. If it's not a petting zoo, there's some vendors that do it, and there was actually a vendor that's all they did, right?
Yeah,
it's like a petting zoo. So I personally don't let kids hold my animals unless they're seriously, or even adults, unless they're seriously going to buy an animal, because it becomes that petting zoo.
Yeah, it's just a touch, go, and I touch it and keep it moving, and it's not what you're there for.
No, and then with hognose and all the other stuff that can go wrong with them and stuff like that, I'd rather not. Especially the babies, they're so small.
Correct. And at the end of the day, you get have that feeling too when somebody's actually really interested, compared to somebody that's just hey, mom, can I touch this? And then it's the mom or the dad asks you, hey, can you touch it real quick? And it's like,
Yeah.
Not today.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah,
that.
I tell them no, and I explain why. And the
Yeah.
biggest thing to me is like the parasites and stuff that hognose can get that hand sensors does not kill,
Yeah.
right?
There you go.
So
Yeah,
if
for sure.
they're holding somebody else's animal, and most of the time those people, because it's adults too, it's kids, teenage, young kids, teenagers, adults,
Yeah, everybody.
that if they're holding snakes, they're just coming to hold snakes. They're trying to hold as many as they can or as many animals.
Yeah, you could have been the first, or you could have been the 10th one already, and
Correct.
you don't know what breeder three, rows down could have had.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then with hognose mites, they're not like a death sentence. Well, they can be if you use
Yeah.
mite spray and all that stuff on hognose. They
Yeah.
can develop neurological issues and die.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. So you have to be like, if you get mites with hognose,
It's
it's a
hard.
mission, man. It's a mission. You just
Damn.
can't get like the mite spray and spray them down.
So they're pretty sensitive then, is what you're saying. They can be
Yeah,
if you
they
don't know.
can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be definitely for chemicals and stuff like that.
Wow,
For sure.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So the show with people, any really cool animal you saw that you were surprised to see there?
Yeah, so definitely one of the coolest things was pretty cool. I mean, obviously, you and I from Florida, growing up, we seen all the animals that live in our backyards
Mm-hmm.
normally, and then seeing them there. So like the albino berms, the Burmese pythons, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
need to take one of those things home. Like those are
Yeah.
cool. Seeing the tegus again, all the amorphic iguanas, it was really really cool. Um, Still baffles me how Florida abandoned them. I still don't understand why. It's the most dumbest thing in the world because it just made it worse. Because my
Mm-hmm.
backyard has more iguanas than when people had iguanas. But I guess we're not the ones to say the right or wrong right now.
Yeah,
But
man.
it was pretty cool seeing all those animals for sure. I mean, I was holding some of them. I guess I was one of those people. But but well, I was actually I don't think I held really any of them. But I was holding them in the containers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which it was cool. That the pied Burmese were really really awesome. I like those a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And then I think there was a back to the tortoises. I really liked. There was a one hypo cherry head that I saw, and then one of my buddy Connor had a really high end radiated tortoise that they sold for quite some dollars, and it was a nice one. It was a really high white tortoise. It was really pretty.
Nice. Yeah, the first time I went to that show, was it not last? Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. It was still in Arlington.
Okay,
Um,
I
and
heard it
then
was better over there.
yeah, because Dallas has a rule with no animal past 6 or 8 feet or something like that.
Can't be sold.
Um,
Yeah, they're saying, and then no retakes or berms are able to get sold there. And then
correct.
I think was it no samboas, and I think there was something else they said too, and I was like, makes no sense. But 30 feet or 30 miles away, you could.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
And I
Makes
think
no
to
sense.
display, like just to display the bigger animals, you had to sign like a request, like a permit or something like that to display the animals there.
Yeah. So
You know.
for the people that ran that show too, that was they probably. I mean, at the end of the day, they probably got a better deal there than over
Yeah.
there, but it suffered for the
Yeah.
vendors.
Well, what happened in Arlington was that it was like the EA center, or whatever, the EA Sports Center.
Yeah.
They turned into a full art museum or something like that.
Oh wow.
So they already had last. I remember last year they were already like starting to work on one side of the venue. So they
Oh, so there's
turned
not even
it.
a spot over there anymore.
No, there
Oh
isn't.
crap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's not fun.
in Arlington, I went and I saw all the stuff that you don't see here in Florida. The tegu, seeing in person because I didn't live in Florida when tegus were still around in
Oh wow.
Florida.
Okay. Where'd you live before?
I lived in North Carolina and then Jersey and stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah.
So now, so you weren't born in Florida then?
No, no, man,
Oh
no.
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were.
no, really. That's funny. No, it wasn't born in Florida. I was actually born in El Salvador.
Okay.
Grew up in Jersey, was in the military in North Carolina, and then made it down this way.
So
You know, a little bit of a gypsy. A little bit of everywhere.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, man. I like to
Awesome.
travel. I like to live in different places.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the most traveling I've traveled a lot, but the longest I
Yeah.
stayed out was probably about 2 weeks, the most.
Mm,
Just with having all the animals and stuff, it's hard to
it is a lot.
be for a
Yeah.
long time. And you've seen what I have at my house. I have
Hmm.
quite a few animals.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So the show, the auction, right? Man, what a great time we had.
Yeah.
It was fun. It's great to. What's interesting too, how all the South Florida people sit in the same table. All
Always.
like the Tennessee people were sitting in the same table, and this
Yep.
just shows you how close knit each ecosystem of the reptile world is.
Yeah, and each state too. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
has their own vibes, their way of doing stuff, and you can see how the Miami people were wilding out there.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
was
man.
it was a good time.
It was, man. And I'm glad last year I didn't go to the auction, but we went this year. Really glad we did. My wife was with me and she had a fun time, so that
Yeah,
was
most of the
cool.
time when I go to these shows, a lot of people are like, "Oh, we're not going to the auction, this and that." But when I go to these shows, I'm always in and out. I like
Mm-hmm.
doing the auctions because it's a time that I'm able to be with everybody, talk crap, and have some fun. So that's why I always
Mm-hmm.
like hitting the auction because I know a couple people out there. They're like, "No, we're just gonna go to our rooms and just like sleep or chill or
Yeah,
wait till tomorrow." And it's like, nah,
yeah.
go crazy. We're gonna
Take
have fun.
advantage. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that bread that we got in the auction was
yeah,
good too, man.
heck yeah, it's
The
worth it.
bread, the cinnamon buns.
That's
Uh,
funny.
that was, man. You
Heck
know,
yeah,
so like I said, Dallas was good for us. We
that's
sold some
good.
animals, made some new connections, had a fun time. So for me, people were like, "Will you go back?" I'll go back.
Yeah, no,
Um,
same. I mean, same. I mean, I wasn't a vendor, but
yeah.
Dallas was definitely good too. Like I said earlier, I met a bunch of people that I did business with before, and
Hmm.
then I have a bunch of potential new customers that I would assume as well, which was really a
Perfect.
good
Perfect.
positive for Blake Exotic Feeders for the quail business I'm doing. So
Any other show you plan to go within the near future?
this year, yeah, possibly I'm gonna probably go hit Tinley.
I've been throwing the idea around too. Just
Yeah,
I've never done the Tinley show.
me neither. I've been in it's Illinois, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah.
I've been in Illinois around the same times of Tinley, but never went to Tinley. I was actually there before, but I had another event for the big
Yeah.
pond company, and I missed it. And I was like, damn, I need to get this thing. I've always hear about it, and I have a lot of friends from the UK that go there.
Hmm.
So they say it's a party at night and it's fun during the day. So I might have to make it. I might have to make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, man. I think I was gonna look at flights today or tomorrow and see what the
Yeah.
deal with it. So it'll be cool to go.
You're gonna go vent
Um,
or you don't know?
no, I'm not gonna go vent. Just go hang out and go just go see it as a patron.
Let's
I
go.
always like to
You,
go and watch, and then all right, I let me get the lay of land, then I'll go vent.
yeah, it makes sense. If anything,
Yeah.
it'll be you, me, Esselin, and Lewis.
Yeah, man. Eslin's planning to vend.
Oh,
So I
there you go.
told him like, if you go vend, I can give you a hand here and there.
Yeah,
But yeah, that would be sick too for all three or four of us to go up there and
yeah,
you know
definitely. It'll
do
be
it.
it'll be funny.
Yeah, because I think Eslin would be his first time going to Tinley as well.
Okay.
Um, yeah, man, it'll be cool. So I got to look that up and make plans. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, the
You know.
crazy thing is for me is the reason why I'm still like normally I would be like, yeah, last minute just go. But the
Yeah.
weekend before I have Animal Con, so I have to go there.
Oh damn. Yeah.
And then it's my son's birthday. So then
Okay.
I'm going to Disney till like Wednesday, Thursday, and then Tinley's the weekend. So I'm gonna have
Yeah.
like one day back home
And
and
then
then ride
straight back
out.
out. Yeah.
So we'll see what's up. Got to
Yeah.
see how my mom's feeling at the end of the day because she's the one that watches the ranch when I'm
Yeah.
not there.
That's cool, man. And then so you're gonna be at Animal Con too. You're gonna be one of the content
Yeah, I'll
creators
be
there.
there. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
be there on a Saturday and Sunday. Yeah.
Gotcha. You're gonna be doing panels and stuff like that.
Yeah, they always throw me in some type of panel.
Cool.
The most, I swear, the most dumbest panels, but whatever. I just make the best of it and have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, cool. So yeah, so guys, if you're watching, and you want to meet Blake in person and stuff like that, maybe Tinley. The weekend before that is Animal Con. So make sure if you're gonna be in Orlando area, check that out as well. I might shoot up to Animal Con too, at least for a day and check it out.
Yeah, it's cool. It's different. I mean, it's a bunch of upcoming animal creators from all around the world. Really, I mean, a lot of people
Hmm.
come. I mean, there's just one guy named Dingo. He comes from South Africa,
Yeah,
and he goes with his family every time. He's funny as heck,
yeah,
and it brings a lot of cool people. And unfortunately, with the Brian passing and stuff, I think even a ton more people are actually going to be coming as well. So
hmm
should be a cool event. Should be
yeah,
really
man.
cool.
I
Should be
think it
fun.
will be. You know, So let's talk a little bit about your world. Quick overview on like how you got into the animal world. Because I'm going to say reptiles now because you have
Yeah.
so many different things.
Yeah, no, for sure. Quick, fast little thing because I could talk for hours for that. But pretty much, my dad always liked animals. My dad used to have anacondas, yellow anacondas, Burmese pythons, monkeys, parrots, everything. He was in and out of animals. I guess when I was born, he started getting me some animals, some turtles and tortoises. And then the first house I remember that we lived in, You know, he would come home from work all the time with turtles, Quaker parrots, the ones that fly around in South Florida, fish, anything, a dog, pit bull, something he would always bring home, and I always had it. And always, you know, really, really liked having the animals. Parents always put me in sports, do sports, do sports. And when I turned like a certain age, I was like, nah, screw that. I always had animals. I was like, I just want to do animals. So yeah, my mom just let me focus on animals. I started getting tortoises, and turtles was my main thing. Turtles and tortoises, really. And just somehow started learning how to make money when I was like about, I would say 15, 16. I was able to start breeding some tortoises, sulcatas and redfoots, and I still do it to this day. I always go back to my like original day ones. And I was able to make a couple cents, dollars from that, birthday money, put it together, and just every time I had some money, I just bought more animals. Kept doing that, kept doing that. Lived there till I was probably around, I think like 17 years old, 16 years old. And then my parents, they knew my passion. They knew that my backyard was filled with everything. There was so much stuff back there of different type of things, and they were like, we need to get a new property. So where I'm at now, Blake's Exotic Animal Ranch. 12 years ago, we put all my new animals at this new ranch, the house. We moved there. It was literally nothing. It was like a little square of all the stuff compared to how big it was. And I guess you could say 12 years later, I'm pretty much at the breaking point. There's pretty much not too much room left. I'm almost completely filled. And I expanded. I mean, I was able to do social media probably around, I think I started like 6 years ago. A good friend of mine was doing it. And I was talking to you earlier before we started the podcast. My original Instagram was Blake's Reptile Ranch.
Yeah.
And I always told my buddy, I was like, if you're going to make a video, just push Blake's Reptile Ranch, because people go to me and they know for me there for buying turtles and tortoises. I'm like, just push that page. My face was never on there. And then I started YouTube, switched it over to Blake's Exotic Animal Ranch, because I knew from the beginning that it's not going to be just reptiles.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to be everything, and it's always been everything, and I just want to show everybody everything, especially when we do social media. Started that 6 years ago, started making some decent good money, putting it all back into my ranch, and built my ranch.
Nice, man.
But then, unfortunately, I think I hit like 70,000 subscribers. It was doing really good, almost 100,000 subscribers. And I was building everything. If you guys go back to like my old videos, I had a wooden bar. And 3 months before that, I was driving my truck on 27 out west in the Everglades. I got hit by lightning. My truck did. I blacked out. Ended up on the side of the road. My truck, all the components, everything shot out. Thought the truck was totaled. They said it was safe. And then while my truck was in the shop getting fixed, bad thunderstorm happened. I was going to lunch with my mom. Thunderstorm passed. Got a phone call from the neighbor. Your barn's on fire, and I lost everything in literally like 2 minutes.
Damn, man.
The whole entire turtle collection, my whole fish collection, everything I was posting on YouTube went gone. Yeah. Everything.
So that fire was started by a lightning strike?
Yeah.
Damn it. First of all, being, like your truck or anything being hit by lightning, it's got to be a crazy statistic on that, right?
It's like, 1 in a million. I mean, it's crazy. I'm scared of lightning now. Like I've literally had an avocado tree in my property get hit by lightning.
Yeah.
People don't like being around me with lightning. Like when I got hit with it, I mean, I personally got hit. What saved me was the tires of the truck, obviously, the rubber. But all I remember was blue. And then waking up with my truck just flashing like crazy, going crazy. Yeah. And I called 911, but they're like, you're alive. Like, it's just, you're alive or you're dead. It's one or the other. I was like, all right, that's nice to know.
Yeah.
And they towed my truck and stuff. But then, like I said, and I literally 2 months later, it was like at this time of the year. It was July 3rd, actually, when my building got hit. I think it's like 6 years ago.
Yeah, and for the people that don't live in South Florida, man, the lightning storms in South Florida are no joke, man.
Florida's the most hit state. Yeah. I started studying about lightning, and Florida's the most hit state in the United States.
Yeah. It'll shake your house, it hits, it like
it's different.
Yeah, man, and I've had those moments, like I couldn't imagine going through that and like, your car getting hit by lightning, a barn going hit lightning, and still dealing with that, because there's sometimes I'm walking into the house during, either like a thunderstorm or rainstorm, and you get that really close one, it makes you jump, man.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, so everything now on my property, ever since that, I've always tried to do everything metal. Mm-hmm. I just don't want no more wood. I don't want no more issues. This new building I made, I spent the money into it. I was making money on social media. It made me a storyline. Not unfortunately, I mean, everything happened for the better, I guess, at the end of the day. So I was able to make something bigger, better. I insulated it. I fireproofed the whole entire thing. the whole 9 yards, so that I wouldn't have that issue again, just in case something happened. Because, like Florida gets hit by lightning, and it's scary.
Yeah.
You don't know what can happen next.
Yeah, man. And then so with the beginnings and all that stuff, it sounded like you didn't have a plan B. It was the animals and that's it, right?
Yeah, it was the I always did animals, and then I was doing social medias. But then I guess because the fire happened, it made a story, so that people
Mm-hmm.
wanted to see the build back. So it just kept on growing and building, and I just was showing the rebuild.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have videos of putting the new slab, putting the new barn, the whole 9 yards, starting completely over, doing the new fish ponds, the new turtles, the new tortoises, buying new stuff. I just was able to show the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could definitely say my channel in the last year, since like what were we, 2024, right?
Mm-hmm.
2024 has really slowed down because I haven't really done too many projects, and everybody really liked my channel for projects.
Yeah.
So I would say in the last 6 to 8 months now, what I've noticed what people like seeing on my page personally compared to other people's pages, they like seeing me visit other people's facilities.
Yeah.
So when I tour, they love it. Like I made a whole video at the show this weekend,
Yeah.
and then the next day I went with Lewis 2 hours south north, I don't even know where, to another private facility, and made a really really cool video there. So wherever I travel, I always make sure I make another couple videos and show people where I'm at.
Yeah. I'm looking
It's pretty
forward to
cool.
seeing that video because we talked about what they had and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that,
Yeah, it'd
man.
be some cool stuff.
Yeah. You know, but what I was talking about, like even from the beginning, not just the after the fire and stuff like that. It sounds like the animals are always your life, and
Correct.
you
Always.
know, whatever you
Yeah,
graduate high school,
I had a
whatever
lot
it
of
is, and that's it, right?
yeah, I had a lot of people like messaging me before and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, you're only doing this for the views, for the for the money and blah blah blah." And it's like, no,
No.
I mean, the real people are gonna know how long I actually had animals my whole entire
Mm-hmm.
life. I still have animals to this day that are been with me since I was, my kid's age. So it's like it's not true,
What do
and
you
people,
have like tortoises and stuff like that?
yeah, I
That
still have
there? Yeah.
tortoises, yeah, and some parrots, and fortunately, all my main dogs all passed away in the last like 2 3 years. But I still
Mm-hmm.
have dogs, but the main dogs that I grew up with, they all passed away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've been doing it since forever. That's why
That's
my shirt
cool.
says 2024. I mean 2004, and I guess that's like when I really got up and going on my own. That without my
Mm-hmm.
parents helping me, or they were helping me. I don't even know what year that was, but yeah, I've been doing it for a long time.
How old are you now?
I am 27.
27.
So
Damn. Yeah.
how old was I at 2004? I don't even know. I gotta do the math.
19.
Was that 19? Okay,
Yeah.
so 19 is when I started by myself, and it was really making my own money and doing it myself. That's what it was.
Damn.
That's when I made Blake Exotic and I'm Rich. That's what it was.
Starting at that young age, within the animal world, it's work, man. It's um,
People don't
count
realize
countless hours, man. Especially
three
when you
six
don't.
five.
Yeah, especially when at that young age, most people, right, don't have the cash flow to start investing and buying this and that and stuff like that. It's always a day to day grind, right?
Yep,
You
you
know.
got to work every day, and the biggest thing too is what I've noticed with a lot of people is it's always fun to buy, but then after you stop buying, that backload hits you in the head with
Mm-hmm.
the feeding starts coming in, maintaining the enclosures, the whole 9 yards. So if you're not able to do that from the beginning and you don't have a way of revenue coming in, don't kill yourself. And
Yeah.
then I'm a big hater of people always asking for like the donation stuff for the animals. Like your animal's worth something. If you can't afford it, sell it.
Yep. Yeah.
There's no reason to say you have a sanctuary now, or I hate all that kind of stuff. I don't believe
Mm-hmm.
in any of that.
No, you know what? One big thing I always say, especially breeding, and hog nose and stuff like that, or any reptiles, if you're breeding, is don't overbreed. Because
Yeah,
I think there's people that overbreed, and then maintaining hatchlings and babies stuff like that feeding bill skyrockets.
that, and then what I've been noticing a lot in this year as well is the people that are overbreeding and
Mm-hmm.
then dropping the price to freaking nothing, screwing up every other person breeder that's been working their butts off to make something
Yep.
that's, let's say, just worth base number $1,000, and they're dropping it to freaking $400. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm still trying to sell it for $1,000 because that's how much it's worth. But because you can't afford to feed it anymore, you just need it gone. You're selling it for so cheap, and then it just
Yeah.
messes up the whole entire world of
Oh, for
everything.
sure. Yeah. No,
And
I agree, man.
I've seen it in every scale of animal because I'm in birds, fish I don't sell, but I'm in birds, I'm in mammals, I'm in freaking turtles and tortoises, and yeah, I mean everything. I've seen it all, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy to me what people have been doing with these prices.
Yeah. So the turtles and tortoises was your base, right?
Yeah, that's my
Um,
always been my bread and butter. That's what I've
yeah,
always. The only reptiles I have is turtle and tortoises now.
nice. And
Oh, and a gator and a caiman.
okay, and you mentioned your dad introducing you to this world and all that stuff. Do you
Yeah,
still have your dad around?
yeah. My dad's always around.
Okay, cool,
Yeah, he
man.
runs a restaurant on the beach.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be pretty crazy for him to see, that like those little seeds he planted
Oh
at a
yeah.
young age get to where you're at now.
He says it
You
all
know,
the time. He's like, "Listen, do it." They gave me the property. They're like, "Do whatever the hell you want."
that's
They don't
cool.
even ask me a question. The
That's
whole
really
thing
cool.
was how my property is a big square, so the
Mm-hmm.
whole U is mine and the inside is theirs. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't use the inside that much, but the whole U is, I would
Yeah.
say, 95% filled up already.
Nice, man. That
Yeah.
that's you know, I was talking to actually Lewis today, and we're talking about like having the support and having the team behind you,
Yeah.
and it seems like you have your parents behind you
Yeah.
to,
For
to
sure.
help you
Always.
with all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I have
Um,
people in the comments all the time messaging me and saying like, haters. I don't care what anybody says.
yeah,
Nothing really bothers me. They can say what they want. But people always say, "Oh, he still lives at his parents' house," and it's like, all right, well, try to live in South Florida. It's expensive. At
yep,
the end of the day, it's very expensive. And what I have right now, and when my parents bought the property, if I was making that much money back then, it's affordable. But what it's
mm-hmm.
worth now, and to
Oh,
try to find
it's
that much property around my area,
yeah,
I can't afford
yeah,
that. So why would I want to leave?
yeah. I'll tell you this: I live in Kendall.
Yeah,
If I was to buy my house today, I wouldn't be able to. If I was
yeah,
to
no,
pay what my house is worth today, I
yeah.
wouldn't be able to
But
survive.
a lot of people like in those areas, and even my areas, they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, we're gonna sell because it's worth so much more now." But then where
Mm-hmm.
the hell are you gonna go?
Where are you gonna go? Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get the hell
Exactly.
out of the state, and it's like you don't want to leave the state because Florida's freaking dope.
Yeah, Florida's really cool, man, and
Yeah.
it's really the mecca of for like reptiles, you know.
Oh yeah,
You know.
for sure. Everybody in Florida has reptiles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you see them outside, like you said earlier. You just see
Oh no,
all the
my
crazy stuff
backyard, bro.
outside.
I have. I mean, I hate saying the word invasive, but I have every invasive freaking lizard in my backyard, and
Yeah,
it's what am I gonna do?
yeah,
Like,
it's
I mean, I'll say that I don't care. I make videos on it all the time.
yeah,
I catch stuff all the time. What am I supposed to do? Kill every single thing? I'm not gonna kill it. I'm not gonna kill it.
no,
Why would I need to
no,
kill it?
yeah,
So I just catch it and let it go. Showing
yeah,
my son about it. I don't have to go to South America with him. I could just grab it right here in my backyard. So it's
yeah. That's
perfect.
true. That's true, man.
Screw it.
Yeah,
What are they gonna say? Oh, I gotta kill this in front of my son. You do it.
yeah.
I
Nah,
don't care what they say.
that's not our job. You know,
It's not.
it's not our job.
It's not. I
Yeah.
mean, you could kill him on the main road, but on my property, it is
Mm-hmm.
what it is. Not
Mm-hmm.
bothering me.
For sure, man. And now having your son and stuff like that, have you thought about like the future of
Yeah,
with your
it's
son and
definitely
stuff like
crazier. It's
that, right?
definitely crazier. Yeah, but now at least hopefully he likes animals, and now I know
Yeah,
I have somebody to give stuff to.
yeah, man.
That's
Keep
the
carrying
one.
on the legacy and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's funny because like when you think about having kids and stuff like that, you don't really think about that stuff, but once you have them, you think I think about it with my daughters. I'm like,
Yeah,
hopefully they carry this on for a long time.
yeah, for sure.
The reptiles itself, their breeding and stuff like that, and within the social media stuff that we're doing and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I think we need within the crazy digital world we live in, all the technology and stuff like that. We need more kids that are in tune with like nature and the world and stuff.
oh yeah,
You know.
100%. I mean, you see South Florida. I mean, it's getting destroyed every day. I mean, there's so many people that want to live here, and every freaking corner is getting
Mm-hmm.
built up with something, and it's
Mm-hmm.
sad.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is going. There's
Yep.
nothing left for anybody.
Yeah, man. You know, with your animal ranch that you have now, that it took you how long to build up? You say
So we've had it for 12 years, and I would say the last 7 years I really
last 7 years.
did the most to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What after the tortoises and all that stuff? What was that next species of animals?
So that's when I started like venturing off because I guess YouTube, I guess you could say, got in my head, and I wanted like different views and have different cool things, and I've always
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have my own little zoo.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started getting deer. I got permits for deer. I started getting crocodilians. Put my foot into a lot of different things. Started getting bunch of exotic birds. I always had the fish. Started getting to big monster fish. Got my permits for monster fish for arapaima, stingray, all that stuff. I think I'm probably one of the last people in Florida or even in South Florida, even completely whole Florida, that has the permit still for those fish.
Mm.
Um, what else did I get into? But mammals, big birds, fish, all sorts of stuff. Just started getting into everything.
Yeah.
And focusing on different things, and then got a couple of each ones, and now everything has been breeding and being successful with each other, and it's been doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool, man. With the permits, especially FWC in Florida, all that stuff. With especially the mammals and then the exotic birds and stuff,
Yeah,
and the fish, right?
yeah.
Um, was it difficult, or was it as long as you follow the process and the steps, is
Follow the process and steps. The hardest one, to be honest, was the fish.
mm-hmm.
It's a free permit, but it's a very, very hard permit to get into because it's for education. So, I mean, I have small little tours that come in every once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
and they see the fish. I just got to educate them about the fish. And YouTube, at the end of the day, is education through the public as well. So
Correct.
that's a big help as well with these
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah. And then with those, because you have them in an indoor tank, correct? That's in the
Yeah.
building,
So with
right?
this permit, they have to be indoors. The
Okay,
reason why I
that's my
built
question.
this building so big was for the fish,
Gotcha. Okay.
because I had the fish before in a wood building, and that wood building, it was big. I knew I could make a big tank in it, but I was like, everything happens for a reason. At the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
it got bulldozed down, it got burnt down. I'm like, I was starting to make decent money, so I'm like, let's make it 3 times the size. Screw it. So I
Yeah.
made it 3 times the size, and now I'm starting to, in the last, I would say 2 years now, I'm starting to fill it up and build it up and everything.
Nice. Yeah, man. When I went to your place and that it's it's not a fish tank. It's a fish pool. It's pretty
Yeah,
impressive to
it's a
see.
6,000 gallon. I wanted to like make my own private Bass Pro Shop. Was what I
Yeah.
wanted to do. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what it looks like. Yeah, man.
yeah.
It's really cool.
And then it's crazy now. I mean, I guess I could get into a little bit with the feeder
Mm-hmm.
thing. The whole back of the building was always my turtles and Tauruses. I moved everything, and now I've been just really, really expanding the last year with the feeder page. Everything
Mm-hmm.
is starting to turn into a whole business even more now. The whole downstairs of my building is going to be shipping, freezer room, packing room for feeders, and then getting probably another building as well, or the back of the building. I don't know. I got to figure it out, get more birds, and keep on growing.
Yeah, yeah. And then you know, like we were touching base on the feeder business and stuff like that. What was the driving factor on doing the feeder business?
Driving factor.
Yeah.
I don't own YouTube, and they can turn me off whenever they want.
Mm,
You always need to have a plan A, plan B, plan C. I have a whole entire family, not including my son, but
yeah.
the whole ranch.
Yeah.
I'm not. I like I talked about earlier. I'm not going to ask for donations.
Yeah.
If I can't afford it, and it had to happen, I would find somewhere to give it to them and set them
Mm-hmm.
off.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to figure out a way to make more money,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to go the illegal route, and I'm not going to, you can't work a 9 to 5, unfortunately, for what I have. It just, unless you're working a really, really good job, and I don't have a school degree, I don't have any of that stuff, and
Yeah.
I know how to raise and breed animals, so I need to figure out a way of doing something. So that's pretty
Nah,
much what
man.
happened to that. So I started that about a year ago, and it's funny because I've been raising quail for probably about 12 years. I've
Mm-hmm.
always had quail. I've always raised them. I knew everything about them. Never at this scale, but
Mm-hmm.
I've always had I would say about less than 100 always. And now I have quite a few.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point where, like, the social media, especially the scale that you're growing your stuff at, can help you, right, financially and stuff.
Correct.
But every time there is like a update with YouTube terms and conditions and stuff like that, it's like, okay, let's see what it is now, right? So it's not guaranteed every day.
No,
Um,
I've known people personally
mm-hmm.
that they're just gonna click of a button. You're not getting paid anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You have a whole if you that's your only way of revenue.
Yeah,
That's scary. What are
that
you
is
gonna do?
scary.
That's
That is scary.
very scary, and that's what I think. I always think about the future and
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow and everything like that because you never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you did it at a great time
Yeah,
because the animal world, the reptile world, not even just the reptile world, like dogs, domestic animals, stuff like that. A lot of people are moving away from single, prey feeding, from especially like the dogs and the cat from kibble and all that stuff, and moving more to like raw and natural
yeah,
diets.
no, for sure. That and the button quail is really good too for a lot of the small snakes. All the
Mm-hmm.
small snakes really, really like it, and there's
Mm-hmm.
not too many people that are putting the numbers out that I am, and I really figured out how to do it. So it's a good thing. And like MJ, he's doing the what are those snakes called?
The chondros.
Chondros. Those
Mm-hmm.
guys. They
Mm-hmm.
eat geckos. He says he races his geckos and the button quail. And I sent out button quail today, a bunch of button quail that
Yeah.
all these chondro people needed because they couldn't figure out what these animals wanted. But it's funny to me because I don't know if you have chondros. You just have hog
No.
noses, right?
Yeah, just hog nose right now. Yeah.
So like me being a true animal person,
Mm-hmm.
I've been to the wild. I've seen how animals work. I've seen a lot of stuff like this, and it's just like these animals naturally, which I never knew about the gecko part, but naturally they live in trees. What lives in trees?
Birds.
Birds.
Yeah.
Birds fly around, all that stuff. Mice and rats don't move from their nest until they're able to move. So when they're moving, they're already big enough to move. A chondro is not going to eat a freaking mouse that
Yeah.
size.
Yep.
So what are they eating? I didn't know that. Andre said geckos and lizards. I was like, okay, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these arboreal, snakes and stuff. They're eating birds.
Yeah.
They're eating eggs. They're eating stuff like that. They're eating small things that fly, maybe small bugs, stuff of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're able to get them a small bird,
Yeah.
why not try it? And again, what my biggest thing is a varied diet. These animals are not just eating one thing. Whatever the heck is passing by them, they're eating.
Mm-hmm.
They are always opportunistic feeders at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Yep.
There's no such. I've never seen an animal, maybe a tortoise, it's going to only eat grass. But at the end of the day, you throw a quail there, he's going to eat a quail too.
Yep.
So it's like everything that's all in that book is not always right. You got to try something new. And like we were talking with MJ's buddy, the one you were talking about earlier, I always forget names. The V. Emilio, correct.
Yeah.
What was he saying? That there's people out there that they just stop feeding their animal because he's not eating this mouse anymore. Well then why not try the quail, or why not try something else that's meaty and try to give it something to make it eat it, because you're just gonna let the animal die because it doesn't want its mouse.
Yep.
So I think a varied diet is always a good thing. We eat varied diets. Our animals should as well. And I've never tried to take away from any other people's business whatsoever, but a varied diet is always the best way.
Yeah, man. I've fed my hognose, my adult females, my males, and now that you had the button quails, I did like my yearlings and stuff like that, and I say 99% of them take it.
And again, everybody's different. They're not always going to take it because why? Correct. Every animal, every person is different. We have vegan people, we have meat eating people, and we have people that eat both. Snakes are the same way. Animals are the same way. Everything's different.
Yeah, and what I've done, especially with my adult females, because they can eat bigger prey, I'll get a smaller size adult mouse, and then I'll get the day old what is it, the regular quail, the tornic, right?
Yeah.
So I'll feed them those two in the same feeding, so they get two different kinds of prey item in the same feeding.
And I know I'm gonna ask you this question if you notice. I know a lot of people say different things. So when they use the restroom and stuff, the restroom is still good.
It's still good, man.
Everything seems fine. But a lot of people I've been hearing that are saying when they feed quail, sometimes it's just more watery compared to the mice. But then sometimes people say different things. But again, every animal's different, so it's there's always going to be a wave of different things. And what I've noticed as well is it's just like feeding a dog. If you're feeding the dog kibble all the time and then you go straight to raw, he's going to have diarrhea.
Yep.
Just like giving a kid, you got to slowly introduce it to something new. The first time you give it the quail or the mouse, it's probably gonna have a messed up stomach. And if it's able to take care of it afterwards and move forward from it, great. If not, go back to that diet that it was originally having.
Yeah. Same like humans, right? Like if you're eating a fatty diet and a specific diet, and then you let's say switch to a super clean high protein diet,
you're gonna mess up.
You're gonna have problems, right?
Yeah,
it's gonna be different.
Natural, but people I guess some people just don't have the sense up there to realize that.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And people always might be afraid too. Like, if I feed this prey item, it's gonna get hooked on it. Man, like I said, I fed the mice and I fed the quail from you. Yeah. Also, my adult females are big enough where they eat the incubated eggs. Okay. And they eat the eggs whole.
That's awesome. And I had somebody telling me about that as well at the show. They were like, we had to give them more calcium and stuff. I'm like, well, try incubated quail because you got the calcium, extra egg, and all that in there as well. They're getting the whole quail, and they're getting the egg, so they're getting that calcium load right there as well.
Yeah, man. So I think that feeder stuff with the quail, you're doing a great you know, great business, but you're doing great for the animal world too.
Yeah, appreciate
Producing
it.
it. Because personally, that I know of, I don't really know anybody that's within our world that is really
Yeah.
doing it
Well, you
and
got
supplying directly from from the producer to the
correct.
consumer.
Yeah, that's what exactly I was just gonna say because you have those big time companies out there,
Hmm.
but one of the customers I have right now, he, unfortunately, I sent it next day.
Hmm.
FedEx messed up. It got there the following day. He sent me the video. The birds were thawed. He did not feel comfortable feeding his chondros the quail. No
Hmm.
problem. Um, Talked to my third party shipping company. It was nothing on my end whatsoever. The weather, everything was perfect. It was on their end.
Yeah.
They refunded me money. No matter what, I was gonna still send them the quail, and I already sent
Correct.
them the quail today. So
Yeah.
it's gonna come in perfectly frozen because it's gonna come the next day.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm gonna get a video of his. He had, I think he said like I don't know how many chondros that ate perfectly, but 4 of them didn't eat the quail, or 4 of them didn't eat. So he's gonna try quail. So
Nice.
let's see what
Nice.
happens.
No, that's cool, man. I think you know, I haven't tried for hatchlings because they're so small for hognose.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't realize how some of these so small some of these snakes
Small.
are, and
Yeah,
I didn't
man.
realize there's mice that are small enough for them too.
Yeah, like it's like as
I
soon as
need
they're born, you gotta grab them.
I need to
Yeah.
see how small these things are. One of my buddies used to breed a bunch of mice and rats, but
Hmm.
I guess I never realized how small they really are.
Yeah, man.
But
They're
like
they're
right
super
when they
small.
pop out,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
crazy.
man. Yeah. So we'll feed them that stuff, and then for like the picky eaters, we'll send with either canned tuna, canned salmon, sardine. Um,
Interesting.
Next year, I'm gonna try to do like just thaw out a quail
Yeah,
and use it like as a scenting method and see if that
yeah,
works
yeah.
as well. Because
That's
in
it.
the wild, hognose eat a very diet. They eat amphibians. They eat small
Yes.
like rodents. They eat birds. They'll raid like bird nests and eat eggs and all that stuff.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know.
So why not
Yeah, man.
trying
So.
everything just to see what works, get them to
Hmm.
get going.
Hmm.
Like yeah.
And if people are looking to buy your quails and stuff like that, they can go online, your website and stuff, right?
Yes, on BlakeExoticAnimalRanch.com, or you
Hmm.
could just DM me on Blake Exotic Feeders, and I'll answer to you directly as soon as I can, and
Hmm.
ship out to you every Tuesday.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. That's great. Great. Um, you know,
and then real
with
quick,
yeah.
unlike like people that are local as well, you could just come to me and pick up as well, no problem. So I don't have to worry about shipping, and
Yep.
just DM me if you're local and you come pick up.
Yeah. I mean, usually I'll text you a day or two before. We'll figure out a
Yeah,
time and head up
that's
to your
it.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think either not the, probably next weekend. Next week I gotta stop by your place. I gotta get some more of
Yeah, no worries.
the the button quails, all that
I
stuff.
got a lot hatching now.
Nice. That's great. You know, is there because you touched base on it when I was at your place? Is there any difference on the breeding process and producing those two types of quails?
Yeah, so one of the birds is made for literally eggs and meat, and the other bird is just a wild bird.
Mm-hmm.
They're ground dwelling birds living on the bottom of people's aviaries, picking up seeds from the birds that drop from the top from the bottom. They're not
Mm-hmm.
made to produce eggs. So that's the reason why the price difference is different from the
Mm-hmm.
button and the contornic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it is what it is. I mean, a
Yeah.
thunderstorm will turn them off and completely stop them. With these
Mm-hmm.
thunderstorms happening right now, I have tons of cages. I'd say 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the cages styles. Let's
Mm-hmm.
say 2 and 4 are off because the lightning scared them, and they
Mm-hmm.
just stop laying for a couple weeks. So then the production goes down. So it's just they're different compared to the contornics. They produce. They're good.
Yeah.
The only thing that's hitting them a little bit right now is the heat, but we're 2025. I got some new ideas, and we're
Nice.
gonna build from that and build it bigger and better.
That's cool.
That won't
That's
have
cool.
any issues.
Oh yeah, man. You
Yeah.
know, and talking about like the other animals you have on your ranch and stuff. You have your aviary,
Yeah.
which is one of the coolest things I've seen. You have so many. Do you know exactly how many species of birds you have there?
Pretty sure not mistaken, there's 6 different species of waterfowl, so different types of ducks. And then I have some flying birds, so those are just turacos
Mm-hmm.
from Africa, and then ground dwelling birds. 2 types of ground dwelling birds, one from Peru and one from Asia. So what is that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10 species inside of there. And then I'm actually dealing with DSV or whatever cargo people. I
Mm-hmm.
have a company that I got sponsored by from the UK, and they're sending me all the mesh for a new aviary that I'm actually building, hopefully by the end of the year. So that's gonna be really cool.
You're gonna expand it or same size? You're just gonna redo it?
Where my deers are at, I'm moving all the small animals all around there except the deer, and I'm expanding the deer enclosure because the deers need a bigger enclosure, and then I'm building up.
Nice.
So the deers are gonna be part of a whole enclosure, so it's gonna be really cool.
That's gonna be really
It's
cool.
It's a whole different type of mesh, so I'm gonna have a lot of cool different types of birds inside of there, and it's gonna be a complete giant ecosystem with mixed species. So it's be really neat. I'm excited.
So like your viewers that like we were talking about that are the people that want to see you build and DIY and stuff for that. We're gonna see this soon, right? You're gonna be able.
Oh
to
yeah, they're gonna see it and they're gonna like it. There's gonna be a lot of projects in the next month. A lot.
That's
a lot of things are going on. New crocodile enclosures, new bird enclosures, giant aviaries, getting new animals. A lot of videos coming out very, very soon because of this big project that's going to be happening.
And most of the work you do on your own, right? And you get help and stuff like that.
90% of the builds and everything I do myself. I have a couple friends that come in and help me out, especially because we don't have 8 arms, and some of the stuff and the material is really big. And then I'll have like side contractors come in for certain things. So like for concrete, I'm not gonna mix concrete, especially when I have so much. I have a concrete guy that come with a truck, the hose, fill up my poles, welders for other certain things that I can't do. I'll have a couple of my friends come and do it for me.
Nice.
Most of the time, I just trade them for animals as well. So we just do a lot of trade.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
so that's good.
That's another cool thing about the animal world, like the trading and bartering system, right? Like, the world was built on, right? Like, okay, I got this, you got this, and stuff like that. So that's another cool thing that I like about the animal world, where people trade and help each other out.
No, for sure, that's the best thing, because my welder, he just got a bunch of land. So he's like, yo, I want some of these new animals and stuff. I'm like, yeah, no problem. And he has his permit. So he's like, next cage, just tell me what I need to do, and I'll help you build the whole thing, and just give me this and that. And I'm like, all right, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
Works out, because if not, I'm going to have to come out of pocket anyways and pay him. So it's like, it's a win-win.
Yeah. What's, with the animals, what animals do you sell? Just the tortoise and turtles and stuff like that?
Yeah, tortoises and turtles. Some of the mammals, like the deer and the capybara and stuff. Otters, if I have babies, and then birds, and that's it. Okay. And then the quail.
And the quail, yeah, the feeders and stuff like that.
But those are all frozen and packed.
Correct, yeah. And then like, it's gotta be, I mean, to me, thinking from the outside in, especially I'm not into like the mammals and stuff like that, and like the bird world. Is it difficult to find people you're comfortable selling some of these animals to?
Yeah, it can be, for sure. That's one of the biggest things about my videos, as well as, otters are amazing. They're really, really cool animals. But what I tell people is, if you can't have this type of enclosure, you shouldn't have them, because they deserve it. They are very, very needy animals. They need a lot of attention, and they just need a lot of work. They're not like a capybara. Capybara is like a goat or a cow. Put a big piece of property in a pond and grass for them. They're happy. They're gonna swim in that pond and eat grass all day long. And if it's nice, they'll come up to you, roll over, and you can pet it. Nice. The otters, they're just freaking psychos. They're all over the place, and they want to do 10 million things at one time.
Yeah, they're a big social animal, right? Like they like to be in social like circles and stuff.
Yeah, if you're only gonna have one, you're gonna want to have another animal with it, like a dog or something, for it to hang out with all the time. Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna be with it 24/7. You still have a life too. You're gonna still have to do things. And he's gonna be upset and all that.
So can you keep an otter like indoors, like 50-50 or something like that, like a hybrid?
50-50.
Yeah.
But not full time. When I was raising up Oliver, my male otter, he destroyed my parents' house pretty good.
Really?
He lived in there for a year. He ate the wires on the washing machine, the dishwasher, everything. And then they'll find a corner to use the restroom, and that's their corner, and they'll make sure it's their corner. Wow. They're pretty smelly too. It's musculus. It's a musculus family, so they have that scent to them as well. So they're not the best smelling animals either. Yeah. But they're fun. They're really cool.
They're fun. They're cute, right? But they're big. They sound like a big responsibility to have. Big
responsibility for sure. Yeah. But again, I'm not one of those ones that are going to say, no, you can't have it. But just really, really think about it and come inside my otter room after a day and a half of not cleaning and let me know what you think. And just, it is what it is. It's the truth. I'm not going to lie.
So with talking about the cleaning and all that stuff, what's like a daily routine for you with all your animals and stuff?
Daily routine, majority, not majority. I would say like the goats, the chickens, majority of the birds, and all the mammals they get fed twice a day. And then the turtles and tortoises 3-4 times out of the week. The fish 3 times out of the week, and then that's pretty much it. But it's a
Mm-hmm.
process. I mean, it's 365 rain,
Mm-hmm.
bad rain, cold, hot, whatever it is, they have to get fed. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what kind of day it is. If I'm out of town, somebody has to be there. There's always somebody on the property, no matter what. And then with the quail too, it's the same thing. You got to be on them. You miss one water goes bad, you could lose 1,000 birds,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's your stock that you have for customers that are relying on you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest thing I don't want to miss is a customer not able to message me and say, I need this, and then I have to say no.
Yeah.
So yeah, the
That's
quail has been one of the biggest, hardest things I guess you could say in the last year. But my mom helps me the most with that, while I'm able to run the whole part of the other part of the ranch.
yeah.
There's just a bunch of other stuff that's always happening.
See, with the way I think you have your enclosure set up, especially for like the grazing animals and stuff like that, the birds. It seems like there is a balance of the ecosystem and like how they can maintain themselves too, right?
Yeah, they do pretty good with it. The problems with the capybaras, what I'm noticing is my property's big, but it's still not big enough, and
Mm-hmm.
they overgraze. And when they overgraze, the grass dies, and then the weeds come in.
Mm-hmm.
And when the weeds come in, it's really hard to get the grass back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having probably a couple parts of the property that are starting to get over. It's already overgrazed and it's just straight weeds.
Yeah.
So now what comes in now is me having to come in and cut the weeds. It's not the grass. I'm gonna cut the weeds and weed whack the weeds because they don't eat it anymore. There's nothing for them that they like. If they liked it, they would eat it. If they're not eating
Yeah.
it, they don't like it. So what I need to do is rip all that out and start it all over, so I don't have to cut the grass.
Yeah.
So they can do it.
Yeah.
And then it helps out because then they're eating and they're grazing, and this is natural. When I went out in the wild in Colombia, that's what they do. They just graze all day. They're big cows, so
Mm-hmm.
it works in your favor if you're able to have it correctly and built correctly. So that's the
Yeah.
biggest problem right now I'm having.
I guess like any grass feeding animals stuff like that. Where like especially like once you start now you have a family of cappies, right?
Yeah,
Like you have a family, so it is that process is multiplying. Um, but like with people, I guess give the animal this space to graze, then move them to this space, and let the other as like a balance, let it grow and
yeah.
stuff.
It's just switching pastures around and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But like I
Yeah.
said earlier, 95% of the U is filled up already, so there's
Yeah.
really not too much
Yeah.
pasture left. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one new section that I have now that is their grazing area. So I
Mm-hmm.
just let them stay in the back, and when I let them stay in the back, I let that area grow more, so it doesn't turn into weeds. And then when they're in the back for a couple of days or whatever it is, I gotta have to feed them. Gotta feed them heavy, a lot of
Yeah.
hays and a lot of grains.
Gotcha.
And
And then the other really cool animal I think you have is the cassowaries, right?
yeah,
Um,
they're real neat. I love them.
yeah, you got them as babies and stuff.
Yeah, I got them at 6 months old. They were
Okay.
still small for being 6 months old. They're very, very slow growing animals, forest
Mm-hmm.
dwelling animals. They're awesome. Definitely not for everybody. They could become very dangerous when they become older. Obviously, they're very territorial.
Mm-hmm.
They're big, big, big fruit eaters. They eat a lot. They eat about a 5 gallon bucket of fruit and veggies and pellet.
That's a lot.
So, um, thankfully, I have a spot to get fruits and veggies. If I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have that spot, it wouldn't be even worth to have them because there is really not much value for them. For what I have them for, I can only sell them for feathered meat and eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have eggs, I can sell the eggs or I can sell the bird for meat. But just to get them to that size meat is obviously very hard to do. It's going to be hard to raise a bird that
Mm-hmm.
it takes so long to get it to the size for meat, so it'll be really hard for that. Eggs is the most uh, real way of doing stuff. So, but by the time they're able to start laying eggs, it's like 6 years old.
Oh
So you're
wow.
feeding this bird for 6 years before it's able to start laying eggs, and then I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's a beautiful egg and it's a high valued egg, but by the time that you get to that, you're gonna take forever just to make your money back from all the fruit you had to get. So thankfully, I
Yeah.
have a connection for that, and their enclosure is really, really stocked up with trees that
Mm-hmm.
are all fruit trees, so they all drop and they're able to forage in there as well on top of what I'm able to feed them every day. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. So, another blessing of living in South Florida, right? We can grow
Yeah,
all these tropical fruits and stuff like that.
definitely.
It's really cool. And then with them being like territorial and stuff like that, is is there a process of working with them and like getting into their area that you have to do?
Yeah, right now they still tolerate of me. They're still good
Mm-hmm.
with me. But the way I have to finish their enclosure is it's going to be two-sided enclosure with a slide door. So when I need to maintain their enclosure, do any cutting backs or go inside there for any reason, there's no reason for me to enter their enclosure with them being inside of there. Just they'll follow me on the outside of the enclosure to the other side. I have another person close the door. They stay over there. I go in. No reason to go in there and be a cowboy with them when they become adults, because you just, you have two of them. You don't just have one. So they're always watching you. They're paying attention. And not that they're trying to hurt you, but just like you and I, if somebody comes into our house, we're going to protect ourselves. For sure. What are they going to do? They're going to protect themselves, but at the same time, they're very curious. And if you fall on the floor, they will get scared and they could jump up and really hurt you. At the end of the day, they could kill you because they're very, very strong animals. But people don't realize as well as dairy farmers, horse keepers, all this stuff get hurt all day long from these animals in the same way all day long, and ton more than somebody getting hurt by a cassowary, because not so many people work with cassowaries compared to how many people work with cows. People get killed by cows all the time.
Yeah, the people get stuck. Exactly. You fall on the floor and stuff like that, and they trample you.
Trampled, you're done. Yep. And people don't talk about that, but people are so scared about this. And I mean, we have friends that have venomous snakes, that have crocodilians and a lot of stuff. But just this bird just looks like a dinosaur, like a legit dinosaur.
Yeah.
That's why it's so scary. But as long as you respect it and you give it its space and you're not a cowboy with it, there's nothing to really worry about them.
Okay. The deer that you have on your property, those really small ones.
Yeah.
What are those?
Those are called muntjac deer. They're from Asia.
Okay.
One of the smallest species of deer. The males have a big fang. The males have little small horns, and the females don't. They're really cool little guys. They don't get too big.
What is it at, like a gland or something they have on their face?
Yeah, right underneath their eyes, they have these little glands, and I only really see them using that when they're smelling something or they're using the bathroom. It's pretty funny, and it opens up really big.
Yeah, that's it's funny because like when I see something, it's like something from like the Avatar movies or something. Yeah, like that, right. They're really cool looking animals. Very unique, especially with that gland on their face.
Very cool. Yeah. No, the mom should be pregnant again, so I should have another one, and then I have another property 2 hours from me. That's my buddies and I's, and we'll probably end up putting some deer over there and stuff, and just expanding the herd and everything.
Nice. So there's plans to get more mammals and stuff like that.
Yeah, more mammals over there. Just more cattle and more hoofstock. That's my main next goal one day. Probably next year. I thought it was gonna be this year, but you know how it is. Things catch up on you, and you need more money for everything. So focusing on other stuff first, and hopefully next year we'll be able to get it up and going.
Yeah. Let me take this quick moment right now. I'm gonna shout out my sponsors and partnerships and stuff like that, and then we'll get back to it.
I want to take this moment to mention and thank our sponsors and partnerships. Sea Serpents is our official sponsor, known for their exceptional customer service and top quality. They offer a wide range of PVC racks and incubators designed to meet the needs of every reptile enthusiast. Their products are built with durability and efficiency in mind, ensuring your reptiles have a safe and comfortable environment. Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional breeder, Sea Serpents has the perfect solution for your growing collection. Want to take your reptile husbandry and record keeping to the next level? Use our exclusive code Clover60 for a free 60-day trial of Husbandry Pro, an all-in-one reptile tracking software that will streamline your reptile care routine. When it comes to shipping or receiving our reptiles, Ship Your Reptiles is our top choice. Trust them to handle your reptiles with care. Use code CLOVERS15 to save on your next shipment. Feeding your reptiles a varied diet is essential, and Reptilinks offers raw, whole prey reptile food trusted by the best zoos and keepers in the industry. Use code CLOVER to save $5 on your next order. Thank you for your support.
All right. I always tell people any of the sponsors or partnerships that we have, we personally use, especially Sea Serpents. You see behind me, Sea Serpents Racks. Chris is a great guy. He was at the show this past weekend and stuff. So great person to be around, and he's done a great business for the hobby.
Definitely.
Yeah. And talking about like racks and stuff like that, you're not into you don't have snakes in your collection, right?
Nope. I used to have a few of them here and there, and when they did that ban and all that, I stopped having everything.
Yeah.
Because I used to have my dad had berms, and then I had like one or two retics and stuff, but nobody really
Gotcha.
knew I had them. But once they started making all the permits and all that dumb stuff, I just got rid of everything.
Yeah, yeah, it's way too much to deal with it at that point.
Yeah, I had
Um,
enough already, and it was just a big animal, and I was just like trying to downsize. So I was like, didn't really have a real passion with them too much. I was like, let me just let them go and find a new home for them.
yeah. Any thoughts or plans in the future to get into any snake species?
Um, I don't know.
If it
Not
comes
right
up
now.
and stuff. Yeah.
Not right now. Maybe I don't know. I have no idea. There's some cool, really cool snakes. One of my favorite snakes that I always wanted and never ever actually had was a sambo. I
Hmm.
always thought they were really cool,
Yeah.
and I never actually got one. But I always was interested in them. It was a really cool snake.
Yeah. They're cool stuff. I have actually. I say I have. Take care, but my youngest daughter loves them, so
Yeah,
we have a few.
that's awesome.
That'll probably be like her future. She's 8
Yeah,
now, so
exactly.
her future breeding plans and stuff like that.
Definitely.
So it's cool. And I also keep right now Barons racers, and then Madagascar giant hognose too.
Okay, cool.
So future and stuff like that. And then it's funny because like I haven't gotten into any like lizards or like what's it called, or tortoise or turtles, because of feeding regimens and the extra
Yeah,
time that you need for certain things.
no, for
You talk
sure.
about it, right? 2 to 3, 4 times a week and stuff like that. Where snakes is usually once a week. You can go away a little bit longer and deal with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, for
Um,
sure. Yeah, I mean it's definitely a big difference with snakes and the lizards. I mean lizards. Most lizards have to get fed pretty often as well, like a tortoise and
yeah.
turtle, at least four
Yep.
or five times a week for
Yeah.
sure. Because they're big
Um,
grazers. They're not like a snake.
Correct. They don't just take in one big meal. Yeah,
Yeah,
small meals every couple of days.
exactly.
Um, One of my top wants of an animal is a Galapagos tortoise.
Yeah,
Um,
they're
you
neat.
know,
They're
they're
really
neat.
cool.
Mm,
There's there's a handful of people that are breeding them here in the states, and
yeah,
no hate on all the breeders and stuff, but unfortunately, it's not hate on them. It's more the way that they have them regulated that they can't cross state
correct.
lines is the most dumbest thing
Yeah.
because the price goes down for that. They're all stuck
Hmm.
here, and they're an endangered species. So why can't we just spread them around everywhere so that there's more? But
Hmm. Yeah.
that whole freaking cross line crap, I think it's the most dumbest thing
Yeah.
in the world. I
Yeah.
mean, as long as your animal's healthy and good, it should be able to go where it
Yeah.
wants.
And that's my biggest holdback that I've had. Because like I said, I like to move. So I don't know. Maybe in the next 2 years, somehow we make a move or something.
Yeah,
And then I've put in, all the time and stuff like that. Then what I do with it,
yeah,
It,
it's your freaking part of your family then, and then you
mm-hmm,
don't know what to do with it. Yeah, no, it sucks for sure.
Yeah, and they live forever too. So it's not like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
I'm having for my lifetime. No, it's like a generational,
oh yeah.
commitment.
No,
So
for sure. They live forever, 100 years plus.
yeah, I
That's a
joked
long
with
time.
my girls. I go, if I get a Galapagos, I go in my will. If they want anything that I leave, they have to be responsible for the Galap. Stuff like that. This is part
Exactly.
of the deal.
Yeah. Can't leave it
Um,
behind.
no, not at all, man. We'll see.
No.
Maybe in the near future we'll get one and stuff.
Yeah, you can get
But
one for a good price now, for sure,
yeah.
compared to what they were back then. It's crazy what the prices were and what they are now.
Hmm.
And it's just the same thing with the crossing the state lines,
State
messes
lines.
everything up. And then
Yeah.
you're starting hog noses are considered colubrids or no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, the colubrids are starting to become a new big thing, huh? I feel like.
I think that's the new future of the majority of what we're gonna see in the hobby.
Yeah.
It's funny because like what attracts me, like Barons racers are colubrids, the
Yeah.
Madagascar giants they're colubrids as well.
Yeah.
Colubrids are to me there's so much difference and they're cool to me. All different species.
But everybody with now I've seen all the corn snakes, all the bird eaters, all the Chinese stuff, milk snakes, everything. I mean,
Hmm.
there was at the show, this show, I would say close to 10 vendors, that
Hmm.
including you guys, the hog nose people,
Hmm.
that had colubrids.
Yeah.
I think there was more colubrid people than ball python breeders this time.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. I tell people like, especially Daytona. Daytona, it's the colubrid show to go to. You're gonna
Yeah.
see all the cool colubrids that people are holding back
Oh yeah.
to that show.
Yep,
Um,
for
you
sure.
know,
But I mean,
and then
the ball pythons are still there. I mean,
oh,
there
for
was
sure.
a ball python. I think we saw it was like 10 grand.
Yep. Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, man.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
The ball pythons aren't going anywhere, man. That's the
It's
base of
still
the yeah.
great pet snake. At the
Mhm.
end of the day, I mean, it's a small
Mhm.
snake. It does amazing. I mean,
Mhm.
anybody that wants to hate on them, and they're still a cool snake, and they're always making new morphs of them and different types
Right.
and different colors. And
Yeah.
for somebody that just wants a quick little small snake in
Mhm.
the room, it's still good.
Yeah.
Just like the hognose, they're a perfect first snake.
Yep. Yeah, man. Talking about morphs in the mammal world and like tortoise and stuff like that, and the birds especially. Is there any like genetic mutations that have been found and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I get crazy on that side. Morphs for parrots, there's a ton of them. The prices are insane.
Yeah.
There's like quick instance, one of my favorite blue napes. Normally,
Mhm.
I have yellow napes. They're just
Mhm.
all green with a yellow crown. The blue ones
Mhm.
are all blue with a white crown. Really, really cool birds. Yellow napes you could get for like 1,500.
Mhm.
Blue napes you're getting for like nothing less than like 20 grand. You have macaws that are morphed. You have antelope. There's morphs that people have no idea about. Turtles and tortoises, same thing. You got all the aquatic turtles that there's tons of different morphs for. One a good buddy of mine.
Mhm.
He's one of probably I don't know, 10, 20 different species that nobody else has of albino stuff that he just buys them because
They're
he's a
just
well
cool.
off dude and he just get them and he got them. Really cool.
That's
And
cool.
tortoises too. I mean, in the last I would say year to 2 years, they even Daytona and all the nearby reptile shows are starting to pop up with the albino redfoots, albino
Mhm.
cherry heads, all the hypos, which is really really neat. And they're starting to pop up a lot more because people are getting them and breeding them and making it happen.
Yeah. No, for sure. What's it called? With the birds and stuff. Is there a bird right now that you have in mind that like you want to get into your aviary with a morph or anything?
Um, There is, but there isn't. I mean, I'm just like right now. It's just straight focus on the quail.
Okay.
Realistically, it's just straight focus on that. I
Okay.
haven't purchased anything right now.
Yeah.
This new aviary, I know I'm gonna have to get a couple things. My old aviary, unfortunately, I can't get new stuff because I have this certain type of bird in there, the trumpeters. They are very, very territorial.
Mhm.
Um, they won't let me put anything else new in there. If I
Mhm.
put them in there, they will kill them. Even though they have an enclosure that's probably bigger than some people's apartments, they are
Mhm.
so territorial and they run that freaking cage. So it sucks. Maybe I'll make them another enclosure so I can make that enclosure really cool and put more different diverse birds in there and give them their
Mhm.
like own space. But then it's like that's their home. I feel bad taking away from their home, but it's like it is what it is. So I have like what maybe 20 birds in an enclosure that's freaking massive.
Yeah.
It's massive, massive. And but at the end of the day, they're living their best life. And my whole idea too wasn't to overcrowd that enclosure, and I didn't want to see a pile of poop anywhere.
Mhm.
So I wanted to make sure there was enough space for everybody just to I don't have to clean after them.
Mhm.
Biggest problem I have in there is just maintaining because it's South Florida and those plants in there are
Oh,
growing
surely.
like no tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a jungle.
Yeah. And you have a pond in that
Yeah, big
aviary too,
pond.
right?
Yeah, big pond. So that's their water. All the animals' water source is that pond.
Cool.
So it's
Yeah.
really neat. Crystal clear. Fill the fish. Fill the turtles. Well, turtles and tortoises, I have I think over 14 different species of turtle and tortoises that live in there as well.
Mhm.
Filled with stuff. Over
Yeah.
40 species, not 40 species, 40 turtles and tortoises in there.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
What the water from that pond? Do you have a whale that like replenishes and stuff like that, or how does
Yeah,
that
I have a
work?
well that I throw the hose on, fill it up,
Mhm.
but when it rains, fills up
It
on its own,
just
does its thing. Yeah. But wintertime, I have to make sure that hose is always there to turn it on because it will dry out and the pumps will, it needs water for those pumps to keep going.
yeah, for sure.
You don't
Yeah,
want
it'll
those to
burn
burn out.
out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
That's cool.
it's dope. That one
Yeah.
of my favorite enclosures. People talk about it every single time I go to any show, anything. They talk about the aviary. And I can't wait for this new one because this one's going to be like even crazier that people are going to be like wow about because I've had this one for 3 years now. I've learned a lot about it
Mhm.
and I have a lot of new things I have in mind and I'm
Mhm.
I'm very very crazy on different ideas so I have a lot of things built up ready to go. So it's going to be
Nice.
fun.
Yeah. And we talked about like you had that one, mishap with the burning, the building burning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Between that time frame, and now with the building, the animals, do you have like something that happened or like one animal that has like really challenged you through the whole process of it?
For like giving me trouble.
Yeah, just like in general, like really hard either building the enclosure or actually just maintaining the animal and stuff like that.
No, I mean everything has been pretty decent. There hasn't been
Mm-hmm.
too many issues with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, like the trumpeters are some issues. The cassowaries are good. No, everybody's been pretty
Yeah,
solid.
yeah.
Not
What
too bad.
about what about like building their enclosures and stuff like that? Have you had to like redo certain things?
Yeah, the aviary.
The
Aviary
aviary.
is the biggest thing because the originally I wanted to use a certain type of mesh called zoo mesh. So I wanted to build that aviary because I wanted to put squirrel monkeys in there.
Mm.
But when I wanted to put squirrel monkeys in there, the monkeys wasn't a problem back then for the prices. It was the mesh I wanted to use. I got quoted from the company almost 200 grand to build that whole just for the net.
Wow.
The mesh is very, very strong. It hold back
Mm-hmm.
a chimpanzee. But that's the only thing that was regulated for that type of enclosure to build. I could build it a different way,
Mm-hmm.
but that was the way I wanted to do it. So I just completely cut it off, and I went for a waterfowl netting. So that's the reason why people message me all the time. Oh, put parrots in there. Do this, do that. I can't. Those are hook bill birds. They'll chew right through it and they'll fly off. This enclosure is made for just soft bill birds. That's what I have inside there. The biggest issue I have is predators. Predators as in
Mm-hmm.
squirrels and rats. Biggest things. They always want to go inside, find the food. They love the aviary. They want to get inside the
Yeah.
aviary. Got to put traps all
They're
the
like
time.
this is paradise. We got to get in there.
Yeah, so they just want to, they always want to get in it. So I always have to remove them or humanely get rid of them as best as I can. But
Mm-hmm.
they always come back. You're never not gonna get rid of them. You can control it, but you can never get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I have holes, I have this new type of light mesh that I'm able to patch, and it's a metal mesh, so they can't chew through it. So by the time I redo that aviary one day, the whole enclosure is gonna be all mesh because how many times I patched every freaking spot. My sister
Yeah.
helps me. Luckily, she's becoming a firefighter, so she can hold a ladder pretty good. And I go up 20, 30 feet, and I'm freaking patching holes all the time. So no birds get out, and then rodents stop coming in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Biggest
Man,
issue,
squirrels. Those
squirrels, bro.
things are freaking smart, man. They're
They're
so
smart.
smart
I
and
mean, I have friends that are
mischievous.
saving them all day long, but I'm doing what I have to do to
Yeah. Just.
sometimes get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is sometimes, but it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Squirrels and rats, biggest
No.
predator on the ranch, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So wrapping it up and stuff for that. What's one? We talked about redoing the aviary and stuff. Any other big things coming in future for your ranch or just within your world?
The new aviary for sure. Building the business up a little more, and then hopefully
Mm-hmm.
next year, start fencing off this 50 acres so I can start getting some more hoof stock. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
record all that as well. Show everybody the process.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing at the show. I had plenty of people coming up to me. Oh, how's the new property going? This and that. Because I showed a couple videos of it. I have a herd of
Yeah.
cattle out there right now, small miniature cows for the last 2 years. And then earlier, probably about 5 months ago, we started building out a big lake. He owns a big nursery, so he needed the lake for water for the nursery, but it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
a water source for our animals as well. So it's like almost an acre and a half lake that we built out, started stocking it with fish and plants and stuff. So getting the land prepped and ready to go for when we have the new animals on it because it's just a hay farm. So there was no trees, nothing except grass. So for the animals we want to put out there, we need to start prepping it. It's going to take time before we put animals out there so that the trees and plants are established and looks good
Gotcha.
for the
Okay.
animals and everything as well.
Yeah.
No rush. There's no rush in anything. Time is always the best thing, and the turtle always wins the race. That's what I always say. Just take your time.
And talking about the herds that you have and stuff like that. Let's talk a little bit about the cow that's on your on the thumbnail.
Yeah,
You have this cow. You have cows and stuff like that at your property too, right?
yeah. I have one cow on my property. Her name is Moors. I've had her since I had this property about 12 years. She's
Mm-hmm.
just a big giant meat cow. My buddy down the road, a good buddy of mine, he breeds meat cows. He sells them to the market and everything. He
Mm-hmm.
had one that wasn't really growing, and he was like, "Yo, you want this one?" And I was like, "Yeah." That was like right when I started the farm, like 12 years ago, and I was just
Yeah.
buying one of everything, buying donkeys, buying pigs, just buying all sorts of stuff. And it's just my girl Moors, and I've had her forever now. She's starting to become, I guess, a little bit old. It's gonna be definitely a sad day the day she passes away because she's a big part of the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows her. She's the biggest animal on the ranch, and it's gonna be a very sad day the day she passes away. She's probably close to about 15 years old now. They could live to like 25, so she hopefully has another 10 years in her.
Yeah.
She's never been bred, so that's a plus as well for her to live longer.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully she lives another 10 years. I'd be really happy about that. But she's a
Yeah.
big girl. She's just big old meat cow.
Yeah, man. It seems like, with the pictures and stuff of that, like the videos you have of her, it seems like it's just like a big old puppy dog, right?
Yeah, she loves the cold too. So once this winter comes, or
Mm-hmm.
like our winter comes, she gets
Mm-hmm.
really rowdy and crazy, and
Mm-hmm.
she'll full on jump in the air and jump down. Cows are hilarious. They're like big dogs. When you have them dog tamed, they just love to play and have fun, and
Mm-hmm.
they're really really cool.
Yeah.
But she's a big animal. Like if you're in her way, she'll knock you off.
Yeah, man.
Luckily, she doesn't have horns, so we're good.
For
And
sure.
cool thing about her too is I've had a ton of different celebrities and stuff in the house, and everybody meets movers, and everybody loves her because she's just a
That's
cool
cool.
cow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I think that's a really cool, animal that you have. It might not be the most exotic stuff of that,
Yeah, no,
but
but she's just still cool.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
man. When I was thinking about the thumbnail, I was like, I gotta put her cow,
Yeah, that
and
was a good one.
and I gotta give it to Lewis because Lewis, is your good friend and stuff like that, and we were talking about her on Saturday night at
Yeah.
the auction and stuff. He was saying like how she loves bread and food and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, and then we had the bread and everything.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a good tie into that. Um, I want to thank you for your time tonight, man.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, your link is the link to your website is in the description below. So guys, if you guys want to go find Blake, what he does, the feeders and all that stuff, go to his website and check it out. Any last words before we leave our viewers tonight?
No, it was a good time. Um, That's it.
Perfect,
Yeah,
perfect. All right, everybody, have a great night, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
later.